more realistic than any other part of math. So I would say this is far more important than any other topic. Because you're talking about money, exponential growth. Actually, I wish the problems I knew about math, but I don't know enough of financial math. I wish I did. Like if we were kids, if I were a student all over again, I would not choose pre-med. I would choose finance. Um, that's just me because that's where all the money is at. And who doesn't love money, right? Um, so I will talk about money, for example. Now, one of the most important thing you need to know is exponential growth. Everything's about exponential growth. I didn't really start investing until recently. I have tried to invest in stock and I lose money before, but I never knew what's the difference by playing stock and investing, or completely different. If you just putting money on bitcoins, is that investing? Well, some people think so. It may be true. I don't know what is it. But if some people put money on Tesla stock, really well interesting things. When Tesla come out, right? A few years back, about 2010, they also come out with a car called Roadster. Tesla Roadster is cost $100,000, and you can you can choose. I think you have to like prepay a down payment. Like I don't know how much is it. It was like 10,000. But if you would invest that $10,000 at a Tesla stock when the Roadster come out, you would be able to buy 10 Tesla right now. Like easily, you can buy 10 Teslas because everything is exponential growth. Okay, so it's really important. Um, a lot of you guys need to have a financial sense. For you guys, I think that's very important. If you go into college, financial things, don't say I can go to college, I can get student loan. Student loan are completely different. Okay, completely different. Student loan is the biggest scam in the world. How many of you guys parents are still paying for student loans? You gotta ask them. If they still paying student loans, they might. Some of the parents, some of the Gen Zs, and they still paying for their student loans. And student loan is it's crazy. It's like you cannot even file bankruptcy from student loan. You can buy a house, takes about $1 million to buy a house. You can say, well, I want $1 million house. Okay. And then one day you lost your job, you say, I don't want to pay for it. And they say, okay, well, we'll just take the house back. You lose some money, you lose whatever you pay already, that's fine. But student loan are different. If you refuse to pay, they can garnish your wages. Do you know what's garnish mean? Have you guys heard that term before? Garnish wage is because before you get paid, they take the money directly out from your paycheck. So if you get paid $1,000, they say, well, now you get paid $800. We're gonna take $200 to pay off your loan. For house payment, they cannot do that. So crazy thing. So it doesn't mean that you want to go to this fancy school. You gotta make sure you can pay for it too. In this world, the best to be you're extremely poor or extremely rich. So if you either don't go to fancy school, because you're not able to pay for it. So start with the next question. Y equal to 2 to the x plus 2 minus 8. I want you to graph this function, and as well as I want you to find x-intercept and y-intercept, because on SAT they will ask you to find x-intercept and y-intercept. So I want you to graph, but before you graph, you can find y-intercept, x-intercept, as well as as well as asymptote in the anchor point. And you can also do this as in terms of a piecewise function as well. Winston, you finish? X-intercept, Y-intercept, asymptote, and anchor point in the graph. How many people completed? One? Nice. Two? Two people? Good. Good. Then you finish? Diego. Wake up, man. You got it? You finished? Good.
I don't know if it's right.
It's okay. You tried, that's all that matters. All right. Let's start by asymptotes. Do you know what the asymptote is? Y equal to -8. Good. Because this is -8, so it's going to go down 8 units, right? So I am going to sketch in the asymptote. And this is 3, this is 3, this is 3. Okay, so 8. 8 unit is going to be right here. Okay, we don't know the anchor point. We don't really care yet. But anchor point is probably right here. But it's moving left 2. So the anchor point should be right here. Did you guys get that? So it's a -2, -7. Now I'm gonna find x-intercept and y-intercept. Y-intercept means x equal to 0. So y equal to 0 plus 2 minus 8, which is 2. 2 minus 8, which is 4 minus 8, which is -4. So -4 is right here. Is that okay? How do you find x-intercept? 0 for y, so 2 to the x plus 2 minus 8. Move the 8 over. Do you see that? Can you do a common base? 2 to the third, right? Do you see that? So it'll be x plus 2 equal to 3. X is equal to 1. So 1, 0. So with that, I can graph everything here. And that is the perfect graph here. Anchor point usually is right here. Is 1 unit above here because this moved down 8, right? So anchor point was right here, right? And this asymptote used to be right here, but it's gonna go down 8 units. This point is gonna go down 8 units, and it's moved left 2 units because of the transformation. So the anchor point is gonna go all the way there, and then you graph it. Sure. Questions? Am I going too fast? Okay, yes.
Can you explain again how you got the x-intercepts?
X-intercept, good. X-intercept is set y equal to 0, right? Can I move the -8 to the other side? Now, 8 and 2, they have a some common. They call it a common base. Because here you got base and exponent. So here, if you convert the same base, you're able to evaluate a number. So you change the 2 to the third. And then you just said 3 is equal to x plus 2. And then x is equal to 1. Does everybody understand? Got it? Okay. So let's talk about why anchor point matter, because anchor point, so what's the difference between y equal to 2 to the x graph versus y equal to 3 to the x graph, y to the 5x graph? They all have a similar things. Even y equal to e to the x. Have you guys learned about something called e before? What does e mean? What is e? What's the value e? Anybody? E is what number? Can you tell me the value of E? No one? Good. 2.718. It's like 3.14. But it's like one of the most important number in the world. 2.718. There's an infinite amount of irrational digit. We're going to talk about how do we get a value E. But it takes a second. So e to the x. What's the difference between those graphs? Let's look at this. Decimals. If I just say y equal to 2 to the x, right? You see this graph, it goes through the same anchor point, right? Y equal to 3 to the x. What do you see? Why do it go through the same point? Because anything to the 0 power is 1, right? Y equal to 2 equal to e to the x. E to the x. Same thing. It's right in between. Because it's between 3 and y equal to 100x. It's still going through the same points. So that's why I say that point is anchor point, very, very important. It doesn't matter what kind of exponential function, it must go through that one point. Is this okay? Okay. My next question is, so you can probably graph e to the x minus 1 plus 2. It's going to be the same way. The anchor point is the same way. The curve, we cannot decide how curvy is it. We don't know how curvy is it because we're not computer. But in general, you can graph the asymptote. You can say, oh yeah, the asymptote is -2, right? Or +2, so you're right. It's a +2, and it was right here, but it's gonna go up 2 and right 1. So this is a point, and you sketch it. That's as much as you can do. There's nothing else, but this is as much as you can do. And that's it. Now, yes.
Can we find the y-intercept?
You can find y-intercept? Yes. You need to learn how to do natural. You're thinking, but no. What's 1/2 x? If you know your exponent rule, you can figure out what this is. What?